Okay, so what we're trying to attempt here today is just a very basic introduction to how to do a hive inspection. And it's really for beginners who don't really know where to start. What we've done here, we've got a selection of things we find very useful. A smoker, which we actually don't very often use. Our bees are very calm. Or you can have a water spray. We don't very often use that either. Gloves to protect your hands. To be honest, we don't use those very often either. A bee brush. I find that's very useful for just sweeping the bees off with a flicking motion. Not like that, which rolls them, but flick them. A lot of beekeepers don't like those. I really do. You also need hive tools to separate the hives and then separate the frames. And these are two pretty standard sizes, shapes. My wife likes this one best. I like this one best. But it's absolutely down to personal preference. But both are good. We both use both. My wife uses both more than I do. Here, this is for when you see the queen. If you want to capture her on the frame, you can just put that very carefully over her and press it into the wax, taking care not to get hurt. It's called a crown of thorns. There's a very good reason for that. But once she's in there, it's like a little cage. She can't get out, but she's safe. She can't fall off the comb onto the ground then. If you want to actually take it out of the hive, we like these queen catchers. It's like a little clay pipe made of plastic. You place it over the queen. When she walks up inside a little bit, and it might take a minute or so, you can put your thumb over it, put the foam in, and then you can let it out either end when the day's done. If she won't come out, you can blow in either end to just, they don't like human breath. They will normally move out fairly quickly, but don't shake her out or anything like that. If you need to mark her, you can catch her in this, let her out into this frame, into this piece of kit, keeping your finger across the bottom. She'll walk up, usually uphill. They like to walk uphill. Once she's in there, you can put the plunger in very gently. If you put it upside down, she'll normally grab what to her is the ceiling. So her back is to the grill. You can then just gently press that to the grill. She can't move. If you get a thorax in one of those little squares, you can then get some paint and just paint whatever colour marker you wish on her. And again, when it comes to release her, you can just lay that on the comb and she'll walk out eventually, because loads of bees will walk in to greet her. So that's all the bits of kit we find very, very useful. The smoker and the water, not so often. These, quite really all the time. This is the last bit of kit we use, which is just a large nuke box really, but it's oversized, so it gives us plenty of room to put frames in, so we're not always lifting the full weight of the hive. We also use these Corex type boxes, which is what a nuke normally comes in. It can be a Langstroth one, which is longer, or this is a British National. And again, it's very similar to this, but we can put frames of bees in there while we're examining, and they're not hanging over long grass, so the loss of the queen is much, much less likely. You can also put a lid on, which protects against robbing from either wasps or other bees. So that's the main parts of the kit we use. And we'll now take a look in the hive itself. This is a bigger hive than we would normally show you, but it's the one we have to do today. So we've got an eek here, so I can put that on there. We know the queen isn't in the top because there's a queen excluder, so she's in one of these two boxes, and this is really just for the honey they're starting to save. So if I take this off, that's the bees on the top. Here comes the bee brush. You can just wipe them off, or hold them over the hive and bang your own hand. They're off. So this isn't very heavy, there's not a lot in there yet, but it's beginning to, I'll show you a little bit. That whining sound is a drone, and they can't hurt you, they've got no stings at all. The stinging mechanism evolved from the egg laying mechanism, so the male bees never got it. Right, this is, sorry, I breathed on the bees then, and they don't like that. We're just starting to get some honey in the top, and in here there's, I don't know if you can see it shining, that's nectar, which is the liquid they get from the flowers, just in here. So they then cap it, that's a nice side, with the blacker the bees, they say, the whiter the cappings. So that's quite nice. So this, we won't find the queen up here because there is the queen excluder. And what I'll do, here comes the hive tool, and that goes in there because they use propolis, which is a bee glue basically. Yeah, it's like sap, and they glue their hive together with that. So let's get this one off on there. This is the queen excluder, which you can see they sometimes fill up here and there with wax. It's up to them. As long as most of it's open, it's fine. So the queen cannot be above this. The workers can get through, but the queen is just fractionally too big, so she stays below. But when you lift it up, you've always got to check she's not on the underside. But the queen in here we know is marked, so she's not there. I'll knock some of these off, and then I'll put the queen excluder upside down on here. So this is the queen's side, and then we can start to look in the main box. We don't need to go all the way through with this, but we'll show you the main things to look for.
Perhaps put a cover over this?
Yeah, good idea. If we put a cover on there, it keeps other bees from annoying them. So where shall we begin? This side, I think. They do stick up the hive with a lot of this propolis. You can see it here at the end of the frames. It's like a brown goo, really. And really quite strong. So I'll see if I can move that. Yes, very slowly. And I'll try the other side. Now remember, these bees have not been smoked. They've not had any smoke on them at all. That side's not going, so I'll just ease that frame out first. And we'll see what we've got. That's pretty much empty, which you'd expect. This side is full of nectar. Again, I don't know if you can see it, but it's glistening and shining in the comb like dark water. Anyway, that's there. That will be honey eventually. So I'll put that back in this storage box just while we're checking it out. And that gives me space now to work. Here we've got, this is quite light. It's not the world's best piece of comb, but they are starting to repair it and build it out. So I'll just pop that in next to the other one. All the time you're doing this, you're looking for the queen, but she's normally where the brood is, not where the honey or nectar is. Her only job really is to lay eggs, and she will lay probably about 1,500 to 2,000 a day. So they say, I've never counted them. This is again nectar, and they're beginning to cap it off to make finish off the honey at the top here. That's little wax cappings. On the other side, now this is interesting. These are male bees, much bigger. That's a female bee. That's a male bee. I'll catch one if I can. So he's there, lovely handsome chap. Can't sting you. His only job is to try to mate with the virgin queens when they fly in the spring and summer. So he's doing no harm at all. They're rather nice, the old drones. So again, not much chance of seeing the queen there. She's probably in the bottom box because we've got another box below this. So I'll ease this one away. Now you can see on this one there's some nice white wax at the top, and that shows that that's very fresh cappings. They haven't walked over it much with their propolised feet. So that's a lovely piece of comb. Here you can see these are worker cells, quite small. And these large ones are where the big boys, the drones, come from. And here's some more drones. There's one, there's one. So the queen could be on here, we'll have a look. But no, that's all full of nectar and being turned into honey again. So that can go down. We'll probably be coming close to the brood nest now, where she lays all the eggs and they rear the next generation of baby bees, basically. Here we've got some cap brood. Now this is honey here, but this is young bees turning from a grub into an actual bee. So it's a bit like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. That's that moment there. Down here we've got some pollen, which they turn into what's called bee bread by mixing it with a bit of honey. There's some more here, there. So now the queen could be here, but it doesn't look like there's any empty cells for her. I'll just check, see if I can see any eggs. Didn't bring my magnifying glass, but I think, good, my wife did. Pat, my wife, thank you very much. I'm gently blowing on the bees to chase them away. And yes, there's lots of eggs in there. It's very hard to see. They're like tiny, tiny grains of rice. You need a bright day really to see those. But that means the queen's been laying within the last 3 days, because eggs are only eggs for 3 days. So it looks as though we've got a queen right hive. This again is worker brood. Honey up here. This is pollen. And here and there are little bits of shiny nectar. But again, you can see our bees are very, very, very good indeed. No smoke, no gloves. We'll check this one out now. My suspicion is the queen is down the bottom, but we'll see. Taking care not to crush bees if I can help it. Again, pollen, honey. This is brood, and there's a bit of pollen down here. So pollen,
And they're
and
all different colours.
they're all different
Pollen.
colours. I'm colourblind, so it's good my wife can tell me that. Can't see the queen. She's got a dot on her back. Do you remember the colour?
I can't.
No.
Yellow or green.
Yeah, I can't remember the colour here.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, there's the queen with the dot. I'll just see if I can reach the... Here we are. So she is a lovely queen walking around doing her normal thing just here. She's larger than the other bees, probably 50% longer. So I'm going to put this over, making sure I don't skewer the queen. And if possible, no other bees either. We just see to see if we can still see her yellow dot moving around, which I can. So we can just push that in a little bit. We know now she's not going to drop out on the grass. So one other thing we're really looking for now is queen cells. These start off, that's just a bit of broken wax there, and honey underneath, that's honey. We'll keep an eye open. So I'm going to keep her in that hive box so she feels secure and doesn't feel something awful's happening to her. I'll open this frame. So what we're looking for now is potential. Really, we've checked everything else except brood disease is one thing.
So we haven't seen larvae yet.
Oh no, we haven't, have we? That's a good thing. Thanks, thank you, Pat. So this is very, very healthy. I've just seen a queen cup. This is very healthy brood. If you've got this sort of worker brood and it's sunken and torn and looks ragged, take a small stick and a tiny twig and put it in, twirl it and pull it out. If mucus comes out with it in a long strand, that probably is the dreaded American foul brood, and that has to be reported by law to the bee agency, who will come out and check your hives to confirm or tell you it's not. With open brood, which we haven't seen any yet, here's a little bit. I don't know if you can get in on that at all. It's tiny little bits of white brood in helps as the bees get off. In these cells here, 3 or 4, and it's a white curled up grub. And the old bee saying is, if it's bright white and curled up tight, it's healthy. If it's not curled up and it's all discoloured and mottled, it could be what's called European foul brood, and that is not as deadly as the American foul brood, but you still need help if you've got it, and it might mean destroying the hive. It depends on how bad it is. That's the 2 diseases that to really scared of. But we began beekeeping in 82 or 83, 1982, 83. We've never seen either. So just to let you know, it's not that common. Now here is what's called a queen cup. And this is something I specifically wanted to show you. It's a little tiny cup on the comb here, and you need to open that. If you've got a queen in your hive, open it and just check inside that there isn't an egg and there isn't any white royal jelly. If there is, it means they're thinking about swarming or replacing the queen. That one you can see is completely dry. Again, if I just ease the bees away, that's just a dry wax cup. They'll make those all the time. They're not important. But if there's any white or an egg in there, you want to be aware they could be thinking of swarming. Places they hide these cups, sometimes they're in plain view on the face. Very often they're in corners like this, and especially little nooks and crannies. So with bees here, it's worth just checking along to see if you can see any, and then of course the other side. So I'll turn this round, and again there's nothing here, nothing along here. But this is the quick, as you get more experience you can do these checks quite quickly, but you can see there's no other queen cups there. So that one can go in, and we'll put it close to the queen cage, but not touching it. She'll feel more secure then. Now these bees are beginning to get a little bit jumpy because they've been open a long time and it's not a very nice day. So what I'll do, I'll give them a puff of smoke, because you can see then the sort of amount we're talking about. Don't puff down into them, puff across the top of the frames. And if you can, if you want to, if you puff your hands, it takes away the human smell and makes you smell of smoke, and so they'll ignore you more. But as a beginner, I would recommend gloves. And we always wear a veil because they do fly around your face sometimes, and it can be off-putting, and you need to concentrate on what you're doing. So here, very quickly now, as you've seen most of the things, no queen cells or queen cups. This is all nectar again, a little bit of brood here, honey here, so there's nothing to see there. The other side is normally similar. Now I've just been stung on my fingertip there, which I'll show you. Again, quite interesting. And that one's just stung me on my finger, so they're getting fed up. So this one stung me on my fingertip and it tears out their insides, which is very unfortunate for the bee. This one has stung me here. She's trying to get her sting out, but I think I might put my gloves on for these, because if you get 2 stings in 2 seconds, this takes the smell of their alarm pheromone away a bit. If you get 2 stings in 2 seconds, it's kind of telling you they've had enough. I'm going very slowly, and it's a very overcast, close day. They don't like that. So here we are with the gloves, which I hoped I wouldn't have to do for this. We don't normally wear gloves, but we don't normally work this slowly. So to the next one. And gloves do slow you down, make you clumsy, but sometimes it's more fun than getting stung. That's a nice frame of brood.
I'm all gloved up now.
Yeah, unfortunately
Not that I got a sting.
No, unfortunately this is just, we're taking too long. The bees don't like this close weather because the foragers can't get out. One other thing I'll show you, you can actually shake bees off a comb if you want to look, and it's, as long as the queen's not on there, I'll show you how you do that. You put it across the hive, you shake it, and then you can see the hive better. So plenty of nice sealed brood there. Honey, sealed brood. This is open brood, white here. Don't know if you can see that. Don't know if it helps me turning it, but
Just, yeah.
yeah.
I think we can see it.
There we are. So I'll pop that one in.
Also, we have to make sure she's got enough space for laying
To lay,
as well.
yes.
So as we go through the bottom box,
yeah,
that's an important thing to look for.
and try not to crush bees as well when you're putting it back, because it doesn't make the survivors happy. I think I'll just give them another puff. Get them down off the tops of the frames so we can get them together. There we go. Push these over. Very sticky. And we pull these over as well. There we are. So
Was she on this queen? Queen on
Yes.
this one?
Now, one thing you mustn't do is forget to release the queen. So we'll just pull this out, and you should see she's still on the comb.
There she is.
Is she? Can
There
you
she
see?
is.
Oh yeah, there she is. So that's the queen there with the dot. I'll get her in tucked away nice and safe while she's on the middle of the comb,
Yeah.
so she can't get squashed against any of the wood. There we are. Now she's safe, she won't come out into the light, so she'll stay in that dark space, and we can just refill with these frames. And usually it's not this hectic, but it's nice for you to see that it can be, and just, you know, stay calm and carry on, as the old saying goes. So what we've checked for today is that we have a queen. If you can't see the queen, don't worry too much. Look for eggs. If you can see eggs, the queen's been there at least in the last 3 days. And if there isn't a queen, which occasionally happens, but you can go a long time and keep your queen. If there isn't a queen, they can make another queen for you, as long as they've got eggs or 1-day-old larvae. So if you can't see the queen and you can see eggs, you're probably fine. She's probably there, you just didn't see her. The other thing that is crucial to look out for are those queen cups, the little empty cup. And you have to make sure with those, you have to find them all of them, without exception, and you have to look inside them to just be sure that there isn't.
Did you put the queen excluder on?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Thinking about what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. So it is always a bit of a game. So if you find all of those queen cups and they're all empty, that's a very good sign. If you find one with an egg or royal jelly, which is like a white, almost like yogurt to look at, that means they're very serious about rearing a new queen for some reason. That's me breathing on them now, that's making them fly up. They think I'm a bear, I expect. And if you find queen cells, that's a sealed one, then you need to really find the queen if you can. But we'll look at that another day, what to do if you do find queen cells. But there's plenty of advice on YouTube. You can look online, what do I do if I find a queen cell? But we will look at that ourselves later. So I hope that's been useful. It's been particularly riotous today. Normally we work through the whole thing with no gloves, no smoke, and no stings at all, unless we nip a bee ourselves. But it's good for you to see it as it occasionally goes, because of the weather, the overcast and what have you. And when you do hit a situation like that, you know, have your gloves on, have your veil on, keep calm, carry on. And when you've finished, all you need to do is close up, go home, write up your bee book to say what you've seen inside, because by next week you'll have forgotten. And you should check your hives every 7 days. Otherwise you do risk losing them to a swarm, despite what a lot of books say. And after all that, it's time for a cup of tea. So that's Welsh Black Bees signing out from Pat and Richard. Thank you.